Math 83, Unit 1, Lesson 3. We're going to simplify if possible by combining like terms. And we can recognize like terms because they're the ones that have the exact same variables. So an x term is like to another x, a y to a y, an x squared to an x squared, an a to an a, etc. So in this particular case, each one of these here are like terms because they all have the variable x with them. And when we simplify, all we do is add the numbers in front. So those are the coefficients. Here we have a -2, and then in front of the x is a 1. So -2 plus 1 is going to be -1, and then plus 4 is going to be 3, and then minus 5 is going to be -2. So we have a -2x, and the variable just stays the same. Over here, these are all like terms, so all we do is add the numbers in front, and in front of the y, there's the number 1. So we have -3 minus 5 is -8, minus 7 is -15, and then plus 1 is -14y. We have a 6x squared, a 2x squared, and a minus 14x squared. They are all like terms because they're all x squares. Again, just adding the numbers in front. So 6 plus 2 is 8, minus 14 is a -6, and then x squared. Now here we have different ones. We have an a is a like term with an a, and then a b cubed here, and a b cubed here. Those are all like terms. So we'll go ahead and add the a's together first. We have 2a minus 9a, that's a -7a. And then we can combine the b cubes. We have an 8 plus a 1, that's going to be 9b cubed. And then minus a 9b cubed, well, that's a 0b cubed. So we don't have any b cubes left. In number 5, when we want to combine like terms, we have an x squared term, and then we have an x term, and those are not like terms. Therefore, we cannot simplify this any further. So this cannot be simplified, and we just say the answer is -3x squared minus 5x. Whereas in number 6, when we want to find the sum, we have an x term here, and an x term here, and an x term here. And the number that's in front of this x is a 1. So when we combine like terms, we can add 5x plus 1x is 6x, minus 12x is going to be a -6x. And then these y terms are alike. We can combine those. We add the numbers in front or the coefficients, and that would be -2 plus -5 is going to be -7. So we have a -7y. We're going to use the distributive rule to simplify algebraic expressions involving parentheses or brackets. So we're going to take this -7 that's in front of these parentheses, and we need to multiply it by every term that's inside of the parentheses. And a -7 times x is going to be a -7x, and then a -7 times a -y is going to be a plus 7y. And then we can't combine these, they're not like terms, so we're done. Again, here we're going to distribute the 2. We're going to multiply 2 by x and get 2x. And then we're going to multiply 2 times 3 and get 6. And then we have a -4 here. These plain numbers, or these constants, are like terms, so we can combine those. And we get 2x, and then 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. So 2x plus 2. There's no number in front of this parenthesis. It's just a 1. So we can go ahead and rewrite it without parentheses, because if we multiply everything by 1, we'll just get it back. But then we want to make sure we multiply this 2 by everything in this set of parentheses. So 2 times 2x is 4x, and then 2 times -18 is a -36. Now we can combine like terms. We can add these x's together. We have 3x plus 4x, that's 7x. And then we have a negative 4, negative 36. That's going to give us a minus 40. So we have 7x minus 40. Now in this one, we want to distribute this minus sign, and we can think of it as a negative 1 that's being multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. So we can rewrite this as 5x minus 3, and then multiply the negative 1 times x, and that's going to give me a minus x, and then a negative 1 times 6, and that's going to give me a minus 6. So when we combine like terms, 5x minus 1x is going to be 4x, and then we can combine the minus 3 and the minus 6 to be minus 9. Go ahead and do numbers 5 and 6 on your own, pause the video, and then come back and check your answers. Here are the answers to numbers 5 and 6. Number 5 is 3a minus 15, and then 6 is 4b plus 4c minus 5. In number 7, we have two sets of parentheses here. We have these outer brackets and inner brackets, and so we have to go ahead and take care of these inner brackets first and distribute that negative 2. So we're going to rewrite everything as 7 plus 3, keep that outer bracket of x, minus 2x, because negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and then we have a plus 2. A negative 2 times negative 1 is a plus 2. Now we can go ahead and combine like terms inside of the brackets. And so I'm going to rewrite this as 7 plus 3, and then x minus 2x is going to be a negative x, because there's a 1 in front of here. A 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. Now we want to distribute this 3 to everything inside of the brackets. So we rewrite this as 7, and then 3 times negative x is a minus 3x, and then 3 times 2 is 6. And to finish up, we have a negative 3x, doesn't have anyone to combine with, and then we can add the 7 plus the 6, and that's going to be 13. Over here, the same thing. We're going to distribute the 4 inside the inner brackets, rewrite everything, 10 minus 3. Go ahead and distribute that 4 to be 4a plus 8. And then we combine like terms on the inside of the brackets. And so we rewrite this as 10 minus 3 with our brackets, and then 4a minus 3a is a. And then we have a plus 8. And now we want to go ahead and distribute this negative 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So we rewrite this as 10 minus 3a, and then negative 3 times 8, that would give us a minus 24. We can bring down the negative 3a, and then we can combine the 10 and the minus 24 to be minus 14. We want to know which of the following expressions is equivalent to negative 14 minus 4x for all values of x. And to do that, we're going to have to simplify each one to see which one is equivalent. So when we distribute here, we're going to get 6 minus 4x plus 8. And then when we combine the 6 and the 8, that's going to be 14 minus 4x. Well, this one's not exactly the same thing because we have a negative 14 and here we have a positive 14. So it's not going to be this one. When we distribute this negative sign here in b, we're going to get 2 minus 12 minus 4x. Adding those constants together, we have a 2 minus a 12. That's going to be a negative 10 minus 4x. And so that one is not the same either. When we distribute the negative sign in c, we're going to get 4 minus 10 plus 4x. And then by combining these constants here in front, a 4 minus a 10 is going to be a negative 6 plus 4x. And so that is not the same thing either. We'll distribute this negative 2 inside the parentheses and get negative 4x plus 2 minus 12. And now this is going to give us a negative 4x minus 10. Again, it's still not the same thing. So we haven't found it yet, so we're going to hope it's E. We're going to distribute this negative 2, and we'll get negative 6x minus 2 plus 2x minus 12. When we combine like terms, we're going to have a negative 6x plus a 2x. That's going to be a negative 4x. And then when we combine the plain numbers, that's going to be a negative 2 and a negative 12. That's going to be a minus 14. Now when we compare, we wanted a negative 14 minus 4x, and this is a negative 4 minus 14. Those are equivalent to one another, so our answer is E. Number 10. Alicia, Boris, Carlos, Dan, and Xavier all collect cards. If X denotes the number of cards in Xavier's collection, form an expression for the number of cards in the other children's collections using the information provided. So as the word problem says, we're going to let X denote the number of cards in Xavier's collection. So if Alicia has 6 more cards than Xavier, we're going to take Xavier's amount, which is X, and we're going to do 6 more than that. Well, more than means to add, so we're going to add 6 to that, and that expression is for Alicia's number of cards. Boris has 3 cards short of having twice the number of cards as Xavier. Well, twice the number of cards as Xavier, that would be 2x, and then 3 short of that means we're going to have to subtract 3. So here's the expression for the number of cards in Boris's collection. Carlos has 2 more than half the number of cards owned by Xavier. So half the number of cards by Xavier would be 1/2 x, and then 2 more than that would be plus 2. Dan has the same number of cards as Alicia and Xavier combined. Well, Alicia is x plus 6, and then Xavier is x, so when we combine it, that means to add those expressions together. And when we simplify, we can combine these like terms of x and x, so we end up with 2x plus 6.